Post-match chat with Chapz for that Millwall podcast where it finished Millwall 3, Sheffield United 2. And what a game, what a performance. And, it's just a great time to be a Millwall fan, isn't it? I think regardless of that as a neutral, watching it on the telly, I think it was a great advert for Championship football. Had it everything, 5 goals and a bit of drama and, of course, 3 points for us in the end. Let's get right into it then. So let's talk about the team that started. So for Millwall, we made 3 changes. 2, I believe, were tactical and 1, I believe, was forced. The forced one was Billy Mitchell coming out and Jamie Shackleton coming in. With Billy Mitchell, looks like he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks, I believe, with an ankle injury that he got in the game against Coventry. Quite early on, I believe, as well. So fair play to him for carrying on. And he's going to be a big miss, but we'll come on to in a moment why I think we have confidence now that he won't be as much of a miss as maybe we originally thought. The 2 changes, which I believe were tactical, were Vogie and Burke coming in for Honeyman and Watmore. I think he's saving Watmore for the Burnley game. But again, we'll get into it. So that was the team. So Long in goal, back 4, Wallace, McNamara as fullbacks, Cresswell, Cooper in the middle, Saville and Shackleton in the middle, Fleming just above, and then the front 3, Burke, Vogie and Bradshaw. And then on the Sheffield United team, I have to say, I don't know a great deal about their current form. I haven't seen them play recently, but just as an outsider, I was really shocked to see Iliman and Dye not starting. He's the best player for me. He's their best player alongside Sander Berg, who I'll talk about a little bit in a moment. But I was very shocked to see him not play. And then throughout the course of the game, you bring on the likes of Ben Osborne, who, good solid player. But if you're trying to win the game or draw the game, you need to bring on attacking options. So I have to say, I thought their lineup was odd. Ahmedhodzic and Clark also not playing. I think they might be coming back from injury. That's the only thing I can assume as to why they weren't playing. And the likes of Jack Robertson did play. But I thought that was strange. And I as soon as I saw Ndai not playing, I thought, okay, well, we've got an opportunity here, which I would love to hear Sheffield United fans' opinion as to why he wasn't playing and what you thought there. But nonetheless, I think we started off the game with real intensity. We were in and up and at them, and you could just tell we were really up for it. Very, very different to the Coventry game in the week. We started with real intensity. And one of the things that I have to say I was really disappointed with Heckingbottom's post-match interview, because he talked about how badly Sheffield United played and how badly their defence played. They played badly because we didn't allow them to play. There was no credit given to us at all. And Sheffield United are a much better team than us. Much better team. Got much better players. But we didn't allow them to play. And I think it showed their defensive frailties at time with Egan. People like Egan, who are usually so reliable for them, just not looking at it at all. And that was by the pressing that we put into force instantly from the off. And we'll get into who was mad in the match and things, but I don't think anyone had a bad game. It was a really, really, really top-tier performance for me. And we did what we're good at, which is high intensity, high press, high energy, in your faces, direct play. We're never going to be a pretty passing team, although at times we did. And I actually thought Fleming, some of his play yesterday was the best it's been for us. And as I say, we'll get into individual performances later. But I think it was a superb performance, and for Heckingbottom to basically give us absolutely no credit and just say that I think I quote him saying we gave them the game, just ridiculous. And I think even Sheffield United fans will see where I'm coming from there. So we start with real intensity, and after 5 minutes we have our first opportunity with Bradshaw being put clean through some really good play, and I think there was a couple of dummies in there from Burke and Vogie, some really good play. And Bradshaw is not very good when he has time to think, and that's the problem. And he puts it straight at following the goalkeeper, and you think, "Cool, what a chance that could be." And then literally a minute later, good distribution from Long, Burke using his pace, running at him. I don't care how good Burke's first touch is. I don't care how good a finisher he is. As a ball carrier with space, he's brilliant at this level, and he showed that yesterday. Running at the defence, nice ball slip through, perfectly weighted for Bradshaw, who has no time to think, no time to even look at the goal, and lashes it into the back of the net. And we're 1-0 up after 6 minutes, and deservedly so in my eyes. And the first half was pretty much one-way traffic. I thought we were absolutely outstanding. And one player I want to call out in particular, who would be my man of the match if it wasn't for Bradshaw later on and getting a hat-trick, was Jamie Shackleton. I thought he was outstanding, particularly in that first half. And he was crucial as well in stopping Sheffield United playing. Players the likes of Ollie Norwood, who at this level are top tier championship players. Ollie Norwood, you wouldn't even know he was playing yesterday because the likes of Shackleton and Saville, I'll come on to him in a moment, but Shackleton, his energy, he was buzzing around. He had such big shoes to fill, in my opinion, in Billy Mitchell, who still for me is player of the season so far. To come in and to do that job with real quality after not playing hardly any minutes whatsoever. I mean, he was knackered by 70 minutes. That's why he came off, by the way. You could tell. I sit near the bench and you could tell when he came off he was done. But what a performance. In the first half, he broke up everything. Played some nice forward balls as well. I thought he was outstanding considering, as I say, that he's come into a team, big shoes to fill when hardly played in minutes. So a big call out for Jamie Shackleton yesterday. But first half was one-way traffic. I've seen a few people comment on Twitter around an offside and things, but I'll be honest, I didn't see it, so I can't comment on it. And I've not had a chance yet to see the full highlights back to see that chance. So I can't comment on that, and I won't comment on that. But Sheffield United offered nothing. And then I believe it was Cooper. We have a habit of giving away stupid fouls inside our own half that we don't need to. And we did again. However, the goalkeeper should be saving that free kick from them. And I think Sheffield United fans will actually be wondering how on earth they went in at half-time 1-1 when it could have been 3-0 to us. Let's be real. The Long's got to save that. I'm sorry. He made some superb saves in the second half, which again we'll come on to. But at this point in the game, you know, you must be frustrated as a player to play out of your skin in the first half and then to be coming in at drawing 1-1, which ultimately is down to a goalkeeping error. And one thing I want to point out with Long, so first of all, not only does he start really far on one side because I guess he assumes that the wall will do the job, I suppose. He did this against QPR. If you watch him, he doesn't dive straight out. He dives backwards, and he kind of almost dives into his own net. And he did this against QPR, and I'm not quite sure why he does that. But if you watch it back, the same with the QPR goal, he kind of dives backwards as opposed to straight to the side. And I think if he dives straight to the side, he's a big guy. He should be able to get his hand on this. So I'm sorry, but that was Long's mistake, and I think he'll know that. So we're going at half-time 1-1, and then I think they equalise around the sort of late 30 minutes, 39, 40 minutes, something like that. And you think, right, well, it's going to be a real test of character against a team who, all right, might not be in the best form, but a very, very, very good side. With players that they paid 10, 15, 20 million for. One of which was McBurney, who I thought was awful, by the way. He's horrible as well. I'm sure he's one of those players that if he plays for your club, you love him because he's an horrible git. But I thought he was rubbish yesterday, and actually his temperament got the better of him, and he was awful. And I don't know if it was him. I don't know who pushed someone over, but lucky potentially not to be sent off. I don't think it was McBurney, but he's just horrible, and he just spent his whole game trying to whinge and moan, and I thought he was rubbish, I have to say. So we come out the second half, and I think probably in fairness against the run of play, we get the second goal. Some lovely play. I forget which was it, the second or third goal. I think it was the second goal from Fleming, out wide to Vogie, takes his time, good ball in the box. And I have to say, even Rowett's post-match interview, I don't think people were giving enough credit to Bradshaw for the header because he's got to run onto it and flick it, but he's put it right in the bottom corner. I think it was a superb header, to be honest with you. And we go 2-1 up, and then after that, there's a barrage from Sheffield United. And yeah, we sat back at times, and I think that was frustrating. But Sheffield United are a bloody good team. They got quality players. Sander Berger, when he can be bothered, and Sheffield United fans, again, I'd love to hear your opinion. When he can be bothered, he's a class above. And he's one of the best players in this league. But at times, he just felt like he couldn't be arsed. That's the way it came across. But he sort of makes things look so easy. He sort of glides, and really, really good player. But I don't think you're getting enough out of him, to be honest with you. But there's a barrage from them. George Long makes a few really good saves. I haven't seen the extended highlights back. So from where I'm sitting, they're very, very good saves. I think that he redeems himself for his error. So fair play to Long from that perspective. But their equaliser does come. And it comes from a corner that we ultimately don't end up dealing with after a good save from Long, might I add. And it was a very, very good finish from McAtee. I think Cresswell's the only mistake he made all game. He goes to ground too early. McAtee shifts it to one side and puts it in the roof of the net. Long, no chance for this one. And it's 2-2. And at that point, you think typical Millwall. You know, we're gonna lose this game when in reality we should have been 2-3-0 up in the first half. And this is where I have to really commend the players on their resilience, because to go through the onslaught that came from Sheffield United for 20 minutes, because they did, let's be real, let's be fair, and then to find that third goal in the 89th minute was just outstanding. I have to say that the ball in, if you watch it from Vogie, to pick that pass with that precision at that after that amount of time in the games gone by, I thought was absolutely outstanding. It was a superb assist. And, you know, Vogie really does sort of slice the Millwall fan base in terms of whether he's any good or not. I don't think he's great, but I don't think he's rubbish. I think he's a decent player at this level. I think he gives everything he's got. And surprisingly, I think that maybe he's better out wide than he is in the middle. Not that we've seen enough of him in the middle, but I have to say yesterday I thought he was really good. And I'm sure most fans will agree. But we find that goal, if you look at the stats, very even in terms of chances created, and all the stats were pretty even, to be honest with you. So I can understand Sheffield United fans thinking maybe they deserved a draw, but I think for our effort, endeavour, and just we wanted it more. I think that was the case. And this is why I commend this group of players, because I honestly don't think our group of players are top six. I've said this before, I really don't. We've got some players, absolutely. There are maybe half of our team are top six. You know, you look at the likes of I think Danny Mack is a top six player. I think Cooper is. I think our central midfield probably is. Fleming is. And then that's probably about it, to be honest. Like in terms of teams that you know would walk into other top six sides. But I think what we have got as a team here is a team that gives everything. And they know what they're good at. They've accepted that. And we play to our strengths. And at times, teams will find us out, like Coventry. You know, let's be honest, they battered us on Tuesday. Maybe it was a step too far. But I thought yesterday we just wanted it more. And that went through every single player. I thought you couldn't fault a single player. So I'll go through them now. I thought Long, of course, made a massive mistake for the first goal, in my opinion. And it's now 2 or 3 goals. I won't get into the debate of Long over Bart on this video. But he made up for it in the second half. So you have to commend him there. I thought Danny Mack was solid. Good game. Got forward quite a bit in the second half. He's got some engine on him. And I'm sure he played a part in that third goal in the build-up. So I thought Danny Mack had a good game. Murray Wallace was probably the weakest performance out of the team. He's not been the same player this year for whatever reason. But again, it doesn't go hiding. A lot of our direct play comes from him if you actually watch the game. And I would imagine he probably has one of the most touches on the ball in total. And he was okay yesterday. It wasn't his worst game, that's for sure. I thought Cooper and Cresswell were superb. Cooper needs to stop giving away stupid free kicks. And as I say, Cresswell made one mistake. But overall, I thought he was superb. And he just looks a lot more relaxed as he's come back into the team. It's a shame, because if Leeds are willing to sell him, if they don't come down, and then they probably need to keep him, I don't think we're going to have 4 million to spend on a centre-half. If we didn't have $1 million or $1.5 million in the summer for Ballard, we're not going to have 4 million for Cresswell. So he's enjoying his time here, but we'll have to see. I want to talk about Shackleton and Saville. So I thought that Shackleton, as I've already said, I thought he was absolutely outstanding. And his effort levels did wane in the second half, but that's because they work so hard. I guarantee if you look at the amount of mileage that our players ran versus Sheffield United, you will see a big difference. And I won't talk about Shackleton anymore, because I thought he was superb. And if it wasn't for Bradshaw getting a hat-trick, I think Shackleton would have been man of the match. I would love to sign him, by the way. I really would. And I think you can tell he's enjoying it here, just whether or not he wants guaranteed first-team football. We'll have to see how that plays out. I thought Saville, he made 2 errors. And the thing is with Saville, he is a classy player in certain respects. For me yesterday, he gave a real captain's performance, a real leader's performance. And I think he should be our captain. I love Jake Cooper, but he's not a leader to me. I think Saville should be our captain. And yesterday showed why. He covered every blade of grass. I think he had the most touches on the whole pitch. Richard Cowley tweeted something after the game. And he did make 2 errors, and one of them almost cost us dearly. But he always puts his hand up. And he knows, Saville knows, right? And he's very slow on the ball, which is what causes the errors. But he's experienced, the way he gets his body in certain positions, the way he can keep things simple and just keep the game ticking over. He's got some engine room as well in terms of getting back and breaking plays up. He made the most tackles yesterday. I think he also made the most clearances. He is a very, very, very good player for us, George Saville. And I think that he will go close for the player of the season. So I want to give a massive shout out to Savs yesterday because, yes, he did make a couple of cock-ups, but I thought he was outstanding for most of the game. And I'm sure he was probably knackered by the end of it and all. Fleming, I thought Fleming actually had one of, if not his best game for us yesterday. Some of his classy touches were outstanding. The way he would get the ball, allow it to come across him and then drift past the player. His strength as well is outstanding. He's so strong. He's a classy player. He's got so much quality. And if we can just get that level of performance out of him every single week, that Fleming yesterday is worth 10 million. But he needs to do that every week. And if he does, then he's worth 10 million and he probably won't be here for much longer. But he needs to do that more consistently. Dropping into pockets, receiving the ball, using his strength to protect the ball, turn, play some really good passes through. I thought he was brilliant yesterday, Fleming. Berkey. So, again, probably another one that divides the fan base. But I thought he was great yesterday. He probably had a little bit more of a bit between his teeth because Sheffield United fans absolutely slate him and didn't want him anywhere near their club. But I think if you play Burke to what he's good at, which is ultimately terrorising defenders with his pace and keep him, utilising for his strengths, I think he's a very useful player to have. And I think he caused the defence a lot of problems and actually freed up a lot of space for Bradshaw, which shouldn't go unnoticed. So I thought Burke had a really good game. Bradders, I'm so happy for him. He's just such a nice, genuine bloke. Gives absolutely everything. I don't understand the hate he gets. I don't think he's a top 6 striker. I've said that before. And I think if he probably knows that as well. But what you get with Bradshaw is hard work, endeavour, and he can play. Some of his hold-up play was superb, and link-up play yesterday. He is a good player. He's a very good player. I just think we need another option at times. But fair play, Bradshaw. 3 superb finishes, and I couldn't be happier for him. I think that now takes him up to 10 goals for the season, which, listen, all right, he's only scored in 6 games this season, but he's got 10 goals, so who cares? Streaky Bradshaw, eh? 2 hat-tricks in one season under the cameras from Sky. Maybe he loves playing to the cameras. We need to make sure that we're televised as much as we can. And then finally, Vogie. So I've already said this, but I thought he had a decent game. Nothing spectacular, but ultimately, when it matters, he produced 2 very, very good assists, and can't argue with that. The substitutes. Leonard came on, did a good job, I thought, in terms of what he needed to do. And Honeyman, again, also come on. There was one chance where they were breaking through the middle and Honeyman literally rugby tackled the player and took a professional... is it called a professional foul? I don't know. But yeah, superb from Honeyman. Love that. And Honeyman's another one, I think. He's probably a lower championship player, but because of his effort, endeavour and his passion, I love having him in the squad. It's a great squad, and we are playing a different way this season. I don't think we're as reliant on one player as we were in the past, and we've gone back to what we're good at. 4-4-2, well, a variation of 4-4-2, up and at 'em, in your face, high intensity, and it's just brilliant to watch. And I have to say, Gary Rowett, the job he does with this group of players, I think needs to be commended. I think it is being commended now, but you look at the facts, yeah, it's not so pretty on the eye, but who cares at times? If we're in the top 6, like, yesterday was good to watch, actually. So I'll take that back. But I think we need to give Gary Rowett a lot of credit. I think he's he also speaks so well. If you listen to the likes of, just listen to Heckingbottom yesterday, Sheffield United fans would agree with this. He's just full of excuses. And then like Neil Critchley didn't give us any credit again against QPR. Like just listening to some of these managers, just full of absolute rubbish. The only one I've heard that spoke well most recently is Tony Mowbray. I think we're really lucky to have Rowett. He always talks sense after the game. I think he's starting to get it in terms of what we bring as fans. And I think fans are also now starting to realise how good of a job he's doing. And I put up a stat on Twitter earlier today where, you know, we basically got the best record at home in the Championship. We're basically top or second. I think there's one we're third for. But we, in terms of goals conceded, clean sheets, chances conceded, we're first for shots on target conceded. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? We work so hard that we've made the Den a fortress, and the fans and Rowett, in terms of the way we're set up and stop other teams playing, needs to be commended. We're not going to ever be the best team, but we're a team that stops other teams playing, stop them being effective, and then we use our strengths to capitalise. So I have to say, Mr. Rowett, a job well done. We now move on to Burnley, which I'm just checking my notes. Sorry, we move on to Burnley, which, given the results yesterday, to me comes not a free hit, but a real opportunity, and almost I would rather us kind of accept that we're best going to get a draw out of that game and then go to Stoke and batter them, because I think we can beat Stoke up there. But it comes with a bit of a free hit. Be interesting to see what changes he makes. I would imagine Watmore was being saved for it. I'd imagine Honeyman will come back in. Be interesting to see who picks in the centre of the park, because with Mitchell out and Savin, Shaq's potentially both knackered, he might have to change one of them. Maybe bring Leonard back in. I don't know. Maybe there's an opportunity to bring Malone into the fold. Not so sure. Don't know. But either way, I think it'd be an interesting game on Tuesday. Would encourage you all to go if you can. I don't think it's on telly because it's a rearranged game, so just try and get as many in there as possible to watch that game on Tuesday. And we've got a really good bunch of players here, honest professionals, and after 31 games, we're in the playoffs with a game in hand. I think we've got 15 games left, and I think we probably need 7 wins out of that 15 games. That will take us to sort of early 70 points, which I think, with the amount of teams so close to each other, if you get to sort of 72 points-ish, I think you'll be in the playoffs. So I think that's what we need to do. Luton game becomes absolutely massive. But look, let's enjoy the rest of the weekend. A superb performance yesterday, and a great 3 points against a team that may be out of form, but ultimately have players of real quality. We stopped them playing effective in the final third, and onwards and upwards. We're in the playoffs with a game in hand. 31 games played, 15 to go, sort of play for. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye for now.